Alrighty, welcome to our math lesson video. So today we are going to do 11.8. So go ahead and get your books out and open to 11.8. If you want to first watch the interactive lesson video that's on Go Math, you can go ahead. It's our essential question, what are halves, thirds, and fourths of a whole? So that's what we're going to be learning about today. If we have a whole shape, how we can split that up into halves, thirds, and wholes, or fourths, equal parts, okay? So go ahead and remember our interactive lesson. It asks us questions, it gives us examples, so you can go ahead and practice with that. And then we're going to jump right on into the lesson in the book. So I'm on page 747. All right, so it says, put pattern blocks together to match the shape of a hexagon. Trace the shape you made, all right? So if I remember back to what a hexagon is, you guys need your blocks and your little shape tiles to help you with this question. Okay, if I remember, it looks like this. Okay, and you say, Miss Keller, how do I know it's a hexagon? It has how many sides? 6. And how many vertices? 6. So you want to use your shape tiles and put them together and see which shapes you can put together to make this. So pause, go ahead and do that. So if I were putting them together, I could take these blue ones, for example. You might have done different ones. Okay, and if I put them together, I have made a hexagon. See? My pieces I put together and I made a hexagon. I have 6 sides and 6 vertices. Whoa! All right, so you want to make sure that you've put them together and you've traced your object on the page, okay? All right, when you're done with that, I'm going to move on to page 748. All right, so if I look at this purple box, it says the green rectangle is the whole. It can be divided into equal parts, all right? So if I'm looking at this rectangle, that's my whole. I just now need to divide it. So if I look at the first one, it says there are 2 halves. Each part is a half. We use that word all the time, right? If you say, oh, can I have half of that? Or can you split half of that cookie with me, right? You know that you would just break it into 2 parts and give half of that over, right? So now we're going to be looking at the math part of that. What does that actually mean? Well, if I have my rectangle and I split it into 2, I see 2 halves. The important part of this is that they're equal. All right, so there's not one half or a third or a fourth that's bigger than the other, because then that's not an equal part. All right, if I look at this next one, I have my whole rectangle again, and I have divided it into 3 thirds. So 1, 2, 3, 3 equal parts, 3 thirds. Each part is a third. So if you took this away, this one that I've just colored in is 1 third. So this is 1 third. That's a third. And that's a third. So I have 1, 2, 3, 3 thirds. If I look at this rectangle, okay, I have my whole rectangle and I've divided it into 4 fourths. All right, each part is a fourth. All right, so 1 fourth, 1 fourth, 1 fourth, and 1 fourth. So how many fourths are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 fourths. All right, so remember they have to be equal. One is not bigger than the other, one is not smaller than the other. All of the parts are equal. So let's go down to number 1. Make it a little bit bigger. It says, write how many equal parts there are in the whole. write halves, thirds, or fourths to name the equal parts. So let's look at number 1. Right? How many equal parts are there in this shape? 1, 2. 2. So I'm going to write that on the line. And what is that? Halves. Good. So I have 2 halves. Now if I look at number 2, I have my shape and I've divided it into how many equal parts? 1, 2, 3. 3 equal parts, 3 thirds. All right, number 3, I take my shape and I've divided it into equal parts again. Each part is equal. How many? 4. 4 equal parts, fourths. Okay, now let's look at number 4. I have my shape here, and again, I've divided it into equal parts. How many equal parts? 1, 2, 3. So if that's 3 equal parts, that would be thirds. Number 5, I've divided my shape into 2 equal parts. So I've divided it in halves. Oops. All right, number 6, I've divided it into 4 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that would be fourths. Alrighty, so hopefully this is making sense. If you didn't finish writing everything down, take some time, pause the video, go ahead and write it down. And I'm going to move on to the next page. Oops. Alrighty. Alright, so I'm going to have you guys go ahead and do 7 through 9 on your own. So pause the video, go ahead and do those. Okay, come on back. Number 7. How many equal parts did you divide it into? You should have done 2. Okay, and then you should have labeled it halves. Number 8. You divided it into how many equal parts? 4. And you should have labeled it fourths. Number 9, how many equal parts? You should have done 3. And you should have labeled it thirds. All right, number 10 through 12, again, I'm going to have you guys do that on your own. So pause the video and then come on back and we'll check your work. Welcome back. Hopefully you paused and you did 10 through 12. All right, so if I look at number 10 and I count my equal parts, you should have done 1, 2, 3 and labeled it thirds. Whoa. Number 11, you should have counted 4 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you should have labeled it fourths. And number 12, you should have split it into 2 equal parts, which would be halves. Alrighty, so hopefully you guys went ahead and did that. Double check your work. If you have questions, just let me know. Hopefully it's starting to make sense. Okay. And let's go ahead to number 13. All right. So it says, draw to show halves. Explain how you know that the parts are halves. All right, so I'm going to have you guys pause the video, and I want you in this box to draw any shape that you want, and I want you to draw it in halves. Okay? Alrighty, come on back. So I'm going to give you an example. You might have done something differently. But let's say I have my square, and if I drew it in halves, right, I could draw a line. Go look at it this way. All right, so that would be me drawing my square in halves. And you know that it's in half, so it says, explain how you know that the parts are halves, because there's 2 equal parts. All right, and you want to try and get as close as possible. So you want your shape like this. If you drew a shape like a square, for example, or a rectangle, and you drew it like that, that's not in halves because those aren't 2 equal parts. Okay, do you see the difference? So you want to make sure that your shape looks as close to being in half as possible. Okay, and then on the lines you can write your shape shows. My shape shows 2 equal parts. Or if you said each part is a half, right, that makes sense. Okay, so that was number 13. So let's go ahead and move on to number 14. All right, so we are on number 14. We're going to sort our shapes. So we're going to draw an X on shapes that do not show equal parts. First do that. And then we're going to use red to color the shapes that show thirds. So whether you're using a crayon or a colored pencil. All right, probably not marker because it'll bleed through to the other side of the page. So maybe stick with crayon or colored pencil. And then you're going to use blue to color the shapes that show fourths. Okay, so first, do the first part, draw an X on shapes that do not show equal parts. So pause the video, go ahead and do that. All right, come on back. So if I'm looking at my shapes, I see that shows equal parts, right? They all look equal. This one looks equal. Now this one right here, they did not split up this square into equal parts. Do you see how these are bigger, those are smaller, right? Those aren't equal. So I'm going to put an X through that shape. Okay. This one, all the parts are equal. Here, all my parts are equal. This one, all my parts are equal. Here, they're all equal. Here, they're all equal. And then if I look at this one, this clearly they do not look equal, right? I have this huge shape right here and then the tiny triangles. So I'm just gonna cross that off. Alrighty. Now you're gonna go back and do the second part. Use red to color the shapes that show thirds. So pause the video, go ahead and do that. Use red to color the shapes that show thirds. So you want to go through each shape. So you should have looked at this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope. 1, 2. Nope. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. So this one right here shows thirds. So you're going to use your color, and you should have red. Well, it's not going red, so I'll just write over the shape red. Okay, so this shape should be red right here. All right, and then, oh, we didn't do this one. 1, 2, 3, that's thirds, 3 equal parts. So this one should also be red. Okay, now you're gonna do the next part. Use blue to color the shapes that show fourths, okay? So pause the video, go use your blue color, and go ahead and color the shapes that show fourths. Come on back. All right, I don't think the blue is gonna work, so I'll just write blue over the shapes that you should have colored blue. All right, so this one, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. That is fourths. This one, halves, so we're not gonna do that one. This one, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is 4 equal parts, so go ahead and make sure that one is blue. This one, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, that's 4 equal parts. So that one should be blue. And then if I look at this one, 1, 2, that is halves, not fourths. All right, so you should have colored 1, 2, 3, those blue, and 1, 2, those should be colored red. Alrighty, so that's number 14. If you haven't finished, go ahead and finish that one, and then come on back because I'm going to go move on to number 15. Number 15 says, draw lines to show fourths 3 different ways. Okay, so we are going to show how we can draw fourths in 3 different ways. Kind of confusing, but what we're going to do is we have 3 squares, and in this one, okay, I'm going to show that I can split this square up into fourths. My first example is going to be like that. All right, 4 equal parts, fourths. Now I have my second square. How could I draw that into 4 equal parts? Not this way, a new way. All right, what's one way I could do it? You guys go ahead and try, come on back. My example is going to be like this. Okay, so again, that's split up into fourths, 4 equal parts, just in a different way. So these 2 are both split into fourths. Do you see that? It's just shown differently. All right, so now my third one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to split it up again, but in a different way than these 2. So you guys go on ahead and try. Come on back. My example for how I'm going to do it is like this. Alrighty, so I tried my best to draw some straight lines here. I want a little bit straighter. Okay, better. Alright, so I've split this square up into 4 equal parts. These are 3 ways to show fourths, right? They're all the same equal parts, they're just shown in different ways. Explain how you know that the parts are fourths. They're all split up into 4 equal parts. So you could say, I show 4 equal parts. So I'm showing 4 equal parts in each shape. Alrighty, so then we are done with lesson 11.8. So now you guys are going to go ahead and do the homework. Again, if you didn't finish writing something or you were confused on a part, just pause, rewind, go ahead and do it. Alrighty, so now that we're done with 11.8, you can go ahead and do the homework. This is not too challenging of a lesson. It's kind of the introductory lesson for our fractions. So they're just kind of teaching us the terms. So it's going to get a little bit more challenging as we move on to the next ones. This one is just kind of easing us into how we can use our terms and what words we can say when we're splitting up a whole. Alright, so go ahead, do the homework. If you have any questions, just let me know. And we are done with math. Alright, good job, you guys.